Juss Sweets family? Today I'm going to be showing you how I make my sweet crust for my fruit tarts, and also I use this crust for sweet potato pies now. It's really good. Hopefully you tried this recipe. I'm going to show you what you're going to need for this recipe. So you're going to need some all-purpose flour, some sugar. I'm going to be separating these 2 eggs for yolks, 2 sticks of butter, salt, and a mixer. Very easy. And obviously at some point you are going to need a tart pan. This is a 10-inch tart pan. You can use a 9-inch tart pan. You can use the mini ones and just separate the dough. It's really your preference, but I got this tart pan in a set of 2 off of Amazon. If you want me to tell you where the direct link, just let me know down in the comment section, and let's get into this video. So in my bowl right now I have the 2 sticks of butter. I already separated out my 2 egg yolks. Right now I'm going to add 2/3 of a cup of sugar to my mixing bowl. Make sure that's leveled off. And a 1/2 teaspoon of salt, also to my mixing bowl. I am making 2 sweet crusts just in one bowl, so I don't have to mix it twice. So feel free to half this recipe if need be. So right now I'm just going to cream my salt, butter, and sugar. You want your butter to be, you do want your butter to be at room temperature. I just took my butter out, so it might take just a little while longer to come together, but it's okay. And I'm going to start that process, and I'll come back and show you what it looks like when it's creamed. Okay guys, so right here is my butter, sugar, and salt, all nice and smooth. I did just scrape it down and mix it a little bit more. And now I'm going to just scrape down one more time, and then I'm going to start adding in my eggs. I'm going to just start my mixer. Full speed, 1 egg yolk at a time. To scrape down again. Whisk it a little bit more. This is what you want it to be looking like so far. And now I'm just going to add in the last ingredient, which is flour. All the measurements will be on the screen, so just follow along with that. And like I said, this is for 2 sweet crust, so just divide it if you only need 1. Add in all of it. Put that on. We're gonna do low speed because you don't want to mess. So, this is what the dough is looking like. Nice and soft, they came together. And I will be right back to divide it into 2 discs. Okay, so right here I have some plastic wrap, and I'm just going to take out some of the dough. It doesn't have to be perfect because I am making both fruit tarts at the same time. So I'm just pressing it together to a ball. So I'm just pressing this out into a disc, and then I'm gonna wrap it tight in the plastic wrap and refrigerate it for 30 minutes. Okay guys, so I just wrapped up my 2 discs, and this is what they are looking like. They do not need to be perfect because they are going to be pressed out into the tart pans. Right now I'm just gonna let the dough rest and chill in the fridge for 30 minutes. Like I said before, but you can keep these like this for 5 to 7 days in the fridge, or freeze it for up to a month. And if you do freeze it, just thaw it out overnight before use. So yeah, I'll be back when it's time to press them out. But if you want, you can always stop here and you save it and use it for another day. Okay guys, so for this part, you're going to need your tart pan, some baking spray, I'm using the Pam brand, and your short crust. Sweet crust, short crust, they're both the same thing. So I'm going to spray, and it has been about 35 minutes that it was in the fridge. I'm gonna spray. You're gonna make sure you get the sides because you don't want it to stick. And as you can see, I do have my tart pan on a baking sheet just to make it easier, because I do have a pop out bottom to help with the release process. Much easier to do. So I'm just gonna start by pressing down my crust. And even if it looks like it's not going to fill up the entire tart crust, it will. Just keep pressing. Try and get a very nice thin, you don't want a thick crust. Maybe about a 1/4 of an inch thick. And just press all the way around. You should have excess. You can always save that for another time, or you can throw it out. Like I said, this crust can be saved 30 days in the freezer. Make sure you really press into the sides. And I do have my oven preheating at 350 degrees. Do not rush this part. There's no rushing really in baking. You want to make sure you have full coverage. The oven just beeped and it is ready, but I am not because I'm still going. That's okay. So for this part, I'm just taking off the excess around the edge of the tart crust. You can use a knife for this to get a nice clean edge, but I just normally use my finger. And I just graze on an angle to get my clean edge. Okay. And I did tell you were gonna have excess, but obviously I have a 10-inch tart pan, so it's not that much, but you can, like I said, you can save it, you can pack it on to your next one, or it just depends on how much crust you need. Clean up my pan a little bit. And then with a fork, I am going to stick holes in it because the crust will rise when it's baking and then flatten out when it cools. But this will just help ventilate the crust. If for whatever reason your crust is too sticky, which it shouldn't be if you follow my recipe exactly, you can dip your fork in flour and press it. There's no particular way to do it. You just poke some holes in it. And this is what your crust should look like. Now I'm going to bake this for about 10 to 15 minutes at 350 degrees because I will be putting it back into the oven for my vanilla custard. I do a baked vanilla custard for my fruit tarts instead of pastry cream. For a more solid, clean cut after it's all assembled. So yeah, I'll be back in about 10 to 15 minutes with my baked crust, and there also will be a part where I show you how I make my filling. So I'll be right back. Bye.